Good morning, YouTube. Welcome to Musher's Tales. We're at the beginning of February, actually close to the middle of February. 29, 30 below this morning. Definitely on the cool side. Perfect day to split a bit of wood. When it's cold like this, the wood's frozen. Don't need much effort. So that's always a good thing. So I'm going to split wood for maybe an hour and a half. And see if I can dent the pile a bit. My goal is to split the small stuff, everything I piled on top. We'll save the bigger for later. Always keeping in mind I need space to work. So everywhere I split and where I throw my wood, the idea is always okay so I have room. Because this pile of wood's going to be here for a while. Because I have to make a new woodshed before I can store it. So I got to do that. What am I using to split? Here's my tools. Obviously, pulp hook. And another pulp hook. What gets me splitting is always my back. I get a sore back. Getting old. So whatever saves me from bending down a bit, I can use. My splitting maul is a Fisker's X27. So you see the name. There you go, is that clear? Fisker's X27. Love this splitting axe. You know, I've used quite a few. It's not my first year splitting wood. I've been splitting wood for a long time. Well, a long time, like decades, you know. Three and a half decades, maybe a little longer. I paid for one of my woodlots. Buddy and I, we cut and split wood all by hand to sell firewood. So that gives you an idea. We split a bit of wood. It has a nice head. Never sharpened this thing. It's a hair long. I'd like it maybe if it was 26 inches for me. Okay, but it's anyways, it works well. If you're ever going to buy a splitting axe, well, yeah, I recommend this one highly. And like, I've tried the mechanical ones, I've tried the wedges, you know, and the mauls. And I've used wedges with the mallet and everything. So yeah, this is what I use now. I'm going to start with pieces like this. This is white birch. It's just going to split. One little hit, it's going to split. I cut them in two, I cut them in three. Like this one here, cut in two. These I'll cut in three. Or maybe four, depends how it splits. And once I clear out this little area here, well, I'll be piling over there, and notice I've been working a bit there. So I guess my goal is to go from this side towards that side without covering up those larger pieces. The larger pieces, some of them I could cut, but it means I got to pick them up and put them on top of something else. I don't feel like doing that right now. I feel like I get rid of the small stuff first. And that's how it's going to go. Something else I do is I keep a bag handy. And all those little pieces, chips and everything I throw in there makes good kindling. So if I got a good piece of birch bark or a chip falls off crooked, goes in a bag, and it's good fire starter. Good fire starter, or if we're putting, I have a small wood stove or two, so we're putting in a small wood stove, works great too. fits in the stove, it's good. All these pieces of wood are rejects that wouldn't, you know, they're destined to make plywood. So it's because they knew they couldn't make good plywood with it. So, see how this is uneven? It's always got a twist or a gnarl or something that prevents the grain from running straight. So, they're not the best things to split. People always say I should get a splitter. Brother-in-law today, you know, you should get a splitter, but I actually enjoy this. As strange as that sounds, but I do. Pile's growing. Turned out to be a nice day. That sunshine. When the sun comes out, it gets warm. When I say cutting wood warms you several times, it certainly does. This is, well, this is the second time it's warming me. And we're not done yet. Not all pieces are made equal. This piece is going to suck. Look at that. So the grain's going in two different directions. Look at the side here, it's a big piece of gnarl. So I have to decide top or bottom. Sometimes it works better with the bottom. Sometimes it works better on the top. But this one's just not going to split in two. This is going to be good for a couple of frigate-alls. Let's see what happens. Anyways, maybe it'll go well. Or maybe it'll go like that. Whoa. That kind of rang all the way up my shoulders. Because the handle hit right there. Look at that twist right there. Usually when you have the first piece off, it goes a little better. Well, we'll change sides and see what happens. It's not going to happen on that side, it's too dry. Go back to this side. Try right that corner right there. There we go. See how curled that bark is? That fiber? And if you look here, see all the curls hanging on for dear life. I just have to get it small enough to fit in the stove, so. Like with this branch here, it's not going to cut well there. There's a nut right here. This one's going to be hard to get much smaller, but we'll see. Oh, there we go. Oh well. See, the effort I'm putting on that one, I could have split 5 or 6 others, so I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave that one aside and say frig it for now. If you hear whistling, I always have a song in my head. The song in my head right now is My Girl, because my grandson was dancing to it the other day and it's stuck in my head. An interesting one. It just has to fit in the stove, right? Doesn't matter what it looks like. So, chop right there, chop right there. Actually, that chop there is not going to work well, but chop right there, and then chop right there, and we should be good. At least I think so. I think we should be good, but does a piece of wood think so? Look, I guess I'm getting a little frosted up. Sun's nice and warm though. Beautiful day to work. A little cold to dog sled. Your hands freeze to the snaps, but it'll be nice this afternoon. There we go. Nice piece for the kindling pile. Now this one here will be a little trickier. Oh, look at that. This fits. Now here's a piece that's a little stupid. I should have cut this in 2. And I don't know why I didn't, because I should have cut it in 2. But should fit. A little story time where I'm going to sit down, take a little break. So way back when, didn't even have kids yet. My wife and I moved here. We had a really good neighbor, and we didn't own our woodlots yet. And this fellow rented from the person who I bought my woodlots from, and he had permission to cut his firewood. But he had no way to get it out. But we had an ATV, we had a bike, 2-wheel drive. So the deal was I provide the bike, and I can cut the firewood. We cut the firewood together, and we furnish each household full of firewood. We're talking about 10 face cords, 12 face cords. So we made a sled out of old skis and everything, and if we used it all winter. And we cut wood on weekends from, I don't know, let's say Christmas till February or something. And as long as you stayed on the trail, you got to really fill up that sled and pull it out with the bike. And it was downhill all the way. If you got off the sled, off the trail, or the sled slid off, well then you were really in a pickle. You had to unload, and it was a lot of work. But whenever we had the sled full of wood down by the houses, one guy'd push the wood out, and the other person would saw it off. So I'd saw off the wood in my yard for myself. He'd saw off the wood for his yard, for himself in his yard. But the guy pushing out the wood determined the length of the wood. So you're always aiming for about 16 inches. But once in a while we'd push it. You know, 20, 24, 28. knowing that it might fit in the stove at an angle or it might not, and we'd always get a laugh out of it. And I still do that to a certain extent. So like this piece of wood, I should put it aside and cut it again, but I'm going to try to split it. And if it splits, it's going to go in the pile, and it's going to be a pain in the ass splitting it. It's going to be a pain in the ass piling it. It could be a pain in the ass putting it in a wood box in the house and putting it in the stove, but each time I'll get a chuckle. So anyways, simple things amuse simple minds, I guess. But we'll see if I can split this first. I won't put too much effort into it because it is a big piece. So we'll see what happens. I figure it's 24 inches for sure. Could be actually 28 inches. And it's got a lot of twists in it. So I do not think I will be successful, but you never know. Look at that. I doubted myself. So there we go. It's split. It's going in the pile. It'll fit in the stove. It'll fit. So, more fun. So, I'm getting a little tuckered, so I'm going to stop. Always best to stop before you're tired, because that's when accidents happen. Beautiful day, sun's just glorious. Really, really nice day. But it's not warm. But it's warm. So thanks for watching. Till the next time.